kick it to Gurley. Mason's going to run it for the near corner, and he gets there. Touchdown!
It just makes you want to die. Love me, don't hate me, you're right, it's okay. Trust me, come this way, live in eternity.
The following is a production of WSB Sports and the Georgia Bulldog Radio Network.
Alabama up to the line. Is this the last time of the day for them? 43 seconds. Alabama on their own 44. Where does he throw? A 3 left and 1 right. He's back to throw. He's throwing long to the left. Carswell intercepted on the 33. Carswell fell down on the 40. Carswell intercepted. Carswell saved our Franny. And the Dogs will have the ball on the 40. Now we're only 7.5 yards back. We're on the 22.5. Alabama's got 8 men on the line. We're going to try to win it right here. We kick it up and it's looking all right. Yeah, I think yes. Billy Bennett stuck it up in there with 38 seconds. Now we got to play defense for 38 seconds. And we took the lead back 27-25.
Georgia will get a crack from the 25-yard line. Trailing for the first time 23-20. They'll line up in the I formation with Thomas Brown, the tailback. Bailey to the right and Henderson to the left. The tight end steps off the line of scrimmage. That's Chandler. He goes in motion to the left side. Play action fake to Brown. Stafford wants to go for it all right here. He throws to the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown! Georgia wins! Mikey Henderson on the reception. One and done, baby. And there is a huge dog pile in the far corner of the end zone as Georgia has beaten Alabama 26-23.
Georgia Bulldog football is on the air, and black is the fashion statement for the night. Tonight, a collision of top 10 foes as the Crimson Tide of Alabama comes a-calling on our Bulldogs. Florida has already lost today in the swamp to Mississippi. Broadcasting from our Lowe's stage outside Sanford Stadium, this is Neil Hondo Williamson. We're ready to get you amped up for the game. Eric Zier, Lauren Smith, Scott Howard are standing by for the Verizon Wireless Tailgate Show. This is the Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network.
It's the Verizon Wireless Tailgate Show on the Georgia Bulldog Radio Network. Brought to you by ServPro, like it never even happened. Arrow Exterminators, Wildlife Pest Management. AT&T, your world delivered. The Georgia Public Service Commission. Aaron's Lease and Sales. Nobody beats Aaron's. Nobody. Auto Owners Insurance, the no problem people. John Deere, nothing runs like a deer. The Georgia Hospital Association. And by IBEW Local 613, on time and on budget every time.
I don't believe Georgia is man enough to whip Alabama.
Alabama brings a man up on the corner, and Green comes back. They're coming up behind him. He doesn't see him. He throws a long pass to Fred Gibson, who caught the ball. He fell down, but he caught it on his back. Fred Gibson, a sensational catch down on the goal line with Madison the corner with him. Caught a one-handed ball lying on his whatchamacallit, and Fred Gibson scored sliding in the end zone, and it's 13-3.
All right, we are back in black here in Athens, GA. Hello, Bulldog Nation. It's a beautiful night for football, and we have got a game for you this evening. Along with Lauren Smith, Scott Howard, and Eric Zier, this is Hondo. The producers of our broadcast are Joel Williams and our big dog, Alan Hunt. Our engineer is Charles Youngs. Tony Schiavone is engineering from here at the Lowe's stage. Mitch Ralston handling scores for us. And Verizon Wireless is the sponsor of our tailgate show here on the most beautiful campus in America, which was displayed on ESPN Game Day for about 2 hours this morning. Tonight, our third-ranked Bulldogs host number 8 Alabama. The game is huge in regards to records, rankings, and rivalry. ESPN Game Day on campus this morning for the first time in 10 years. Coach Rick has called for a blackout, and our fans have responded. Florida has lost already today, and all of that news takes a backseat to the fact that tonight's home game will be the first Georgia football game in Athens that will not feature Larry Munson doing play-by-play since November 13th, 1965. Now, as the Bulldog Nation knows all too well, Larry announced this week that he's retiring from play-by-play. Lauren Smith, the reaction here in Athens.
Well, it's been a moment of sadness wherever you go. People ask. They not only express sadness that the era is over, the Munson era, they want to know how Larry's doing. They want to know how's he feeling, and everybody sends best wishes to Larry by anybody that they feel has any contact or who can relay any message. So everybody has displayed an outpouring of spirit to say it ain't so, Joe, but we knew it was inevitable that it would come someday.
Well, I was almost 4 years old when Larry started, and I was in Nashville at the time, so maybe that was some sort of a precursor to being fortunate enough and lucky to be able to work with him for as long as I have, just from a personal standpoint. And because Larry was in Nashville for all those years on television and in radio before he started here, and a lot of people have asked this week, my thoughts and what I think about this situation, and I've had a long time to think about this answer that I'm about to give. What's it like to sit in Larry's chair today? Well, if you remember All in the Family, I kind of feel like Meathead sitting in Archie Bunker's chair. That's kind of what it feels like. It's almost like, you don't really belong there, so get out. But we're going to make it happen today.
Scott, you're going to do a great job tonight, and we hope you're excited. We are all excited about Scott Howard taking over tonight here for the home games for Larry. Larry had not missed a home game, as mentioned, since '65. Here's the great news, everybody, okay? Larry's going to be on the show with us later. We're going to talk to Larry at about 5:45, get his take on tonight's game, see how he's feeling. All kinds of stuff has popped up this week about Larry's health, and Larry's fine. We'll talk to Larry, okay? Now we're going to get back to one heck of a big day in Athens, Georgia. But first, we have to talk about the precursor, and that is what happened today in the Swamp, Eric Zier.
A big day today across the board. Florida losing just really amplifies that. I think back to one of the biggest games I played in here, 1991, when Clemson came to town. It was a night game, and there was so much excitement before the game because of what was going on outside of what was happening here with the Atlanta Braves at the time. Well, now we've got the same thing. It really started on Thursday night with USC getting beat, Florida getting beat today. Now, the reality is we still have to go take care of business, but just the fact that they got beat today is going to add so much more excitement into an already off-the-chart atmosphere.
Well, Florida late scored a touchdown, a potential tying touchdown with the extra point. I think about 3.5, 4 minutes left. And Ole Miss blocks the extra point, and that just changed the whole face of the game. And Florida was able to get the ball back with time running out. And a little bit of a controversy at the end of the game because Urban Meyer decided to go for it on 4th and 1 It was in Ole Miss territory, but it was going to be a lengthy field goal.
47 yards, that was the percentage to go for the field goal.
Yeah, certainly makeable.
Absolutely.
Certainly makeable, but apparently just no faith in the kicker or what the situation was, but he went for it on 4th down, and Ole Miss stopped Tebow, and that was that.
Well, you know, one thing that I've thought about watching that game at the end, everybody is saying, you know, probably Ole Miss, nothing to Ole Miss. Florida runs over Tennessee. You've got to be mentally prepared every game in this league. Now, Ole Miss, I'm surprised they lost to Vandy at Oxford, but how did they lose? 7 turnovers, wasn't it? You can't beat anybody turning the ball over 7 times, so Ole Miss is really a much better team than their performance indicates.
Guys, today to Athens now. We've talked about what happened to Florida. How do we avoid that happening to Georgia today against Alabama? First top 10 matchup between two teams that are in the top 10 in Athens since, 1983, Lauren? The Auburn-Georgia game?
Right, that would have been.
Since the Auburn-Georgia game then, and of course we saw it here at 76. Eric, what's Georgia's game plan for tonight?
Well, you know, we need to come out and capture the enthusiasm right off the bat. This Alabama team has outscored their opponent 64-0 in the first quarter of this year. We have so much excitement right now in this stadium. We've got to start fast, but then it's really just the mental part of the game. We can't continue to have the penalties that we've had. We can't turn the football over. We've got to go out, establish a running game, do those sound fundamental things, capture the excitement, and we can run over this Alabama football team. But make no mistake, these guys are good. They've got talent across the board, and they're going to be ready to play. It's going to be a great matchup.
Scott Howard, can you remember this much excitement in Athens in some time?
You know, I mean, obviously not many folks are in the stadium right now, but
right.
I just thought that Auburn atmosphere last year for the first blackout was absolutely electric.
Right.
Once the anticipation of will they or won't they wear the black jerseys, everybody's blacked out in the stadium. Are they going to participate? You know, the guys came running out of the tunnel, and it was absolute bedlam. I thought that was probably the most energetic I've seen Sanford Stadium in my years of watching Georgia football.
Well, I don't see how you can top that except tonight. We absolutely need to, but I hope it's the same song, same verse, don't turn the ball over, and stuff the run on defense.
All right,
That's
guys.
what's gotten us where we are.
That is what has gotten us where we are today. Right now, it's time to take a look at this week's SEC elimination game, sponsored by All Good Pest Solutions. 1-3 Mississippi State travels to the Bayou to take on number 5 LSU. Picking this game is too easy. It's too easy. Here's the task for you tonight in our all-good elimination game. Will the Maroon Bulldogs score more than 9 points versus LSU? Scott Howard, you go first.
No.
I second that. Absolutely not.
Well, if LSU fumbles in the end zone, they fall on it, maybe.
Okay, Lauren, yes or no on the 9 points?
I don't know. This day and age, I hate to gamble or bet, but I'd say probably not.
Okay, that's unanimous. None of us thinks that the Maroon Bulldogs of Mississippi State will be able to score more than 9 points on LSU in the Bayou tonight.
They're only averaging 14.
Yeah.
So the odds are in our favor.
Yeah, but I wasn't going to let you just pick who's going to win that game. It's time for Eric's Desires. I hear the music. Eric, what do you want to hear? See out of the Bulldogs tonight?
Well, we need to win the ground game on both sides of the ball. We've got to rush for over 100 yards, and we've got to shut down Glenn Coffey in that running game of Alabama. Put the game in the hands of that quarterback for Alabama. Let him try to go win the game.
Right.
We've got to start fast, capture the enthusiasm. Like I just said, this Alabama team has gone out 64-0 in the first quarter against their opponents this year. We need to shut that down. We don't need to let them take our crowd out of the game. And then the last thing, we've got to eliminate penalties. We've seen it week after week where we've had just multiple big penalties where we're giving up chunks of yardage time and time again. We do that against a team like Alabama, 8th-ranked team in the country. We're going to be in trouble. Eliminate those, win that ground game, and capture this enthusiasm. We'll be in great shape, and we'll be partying all night long.
Those are Eric's Desires. Thank you, Scott Howard, Lauren Smith. Larry Munson will join us later in the broadcast, as mentioned. Coming up next, with Georgia versus Alabama, Scott Howard is standing by with interviews from Matthew Stafford, Mohamed Massaquoi, and Mark Richt on the Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network. We've been talking about how Florida was upset today by Ole Miss in the Swamp, 31-30. More good news for the SEC East if you're a Georgia fan. 15th-ranked Auburn leads Tennessee 14-6. They are two-thirds of the way through the second quarter, so they have about 5 minutes to play in the second quarter with the Tigers leading the Volunteers. Our tailgate show scores are brought to you by the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Union Local 72, and we're talking about the SEC. Don't forget Eric Zier coming up in just a few minutes, and we will take you around the conference, including that Ole Miss upset of Florida and Tennessee, Auburn, and more. Let's take a peek at some more scores for you in the top 25. Another upset besides the Gators going down today. Clemson, ranked 20th in the nation, fell at home to Maryland 20-17. Number 14, Ohio State knocked off Minnesota, handed the Golden Gophers their first loss, 34-31 Buckeyes in that one. Games in progress in the top 25. 7th-ranked Texas leads Arkansas 23-3. They are midway through the second quarter. Another second quarter score for you. UCLA leads number 25 Fresno State 16-13. Late in the second quarter, we mentioned that Auburn leads Tennessee 14-6. Midway through the second, number 9 Wisconsin is leading Michigan 6-0. That game in Ann Arbor. Houston is trying to upset 23rd ranked East Carolina. It's 14-10. Houston leads that one very late in the first half. And midway through the second quarter, Navy has a 14-0 lead on the pride of the Atlantic Coast Conference, Wake Forest. Navy leading the Demon Deacons 14-0. They are in the second. We'll hit you with some more scores in just a bit. Right now, presented by the Bank of North Georgia. Here's Scott Howard, our play-by-play man tonight for Georgia and Alabama. He's got a preview. Scott?
Since 1940, only 7 top 10 matchups have been played in Sanford Stadium, according to Georgia records. Tonight will be the 8th as third-ranked Georgia scuffles with number 8 Alabama. Dogs head coach Mark Richt closed practice completely this week, explaining that it worked last year, so they thought they would try that tactic again. Might as well keep some of this stuff secret as the Bulldogs are growing with more weapons on offense. Marino and Stafford, Massaquoi, and emerging freshman receiver A.J. Green.
If you have just one great receiver and nothing else, you can easily roll your coverage and double up a guy and it's over with. You're just trying like mad to get the ball to a guy who's double covered. It's not very smart, so you need 2 receivers that are outstanding, and you need a runner, and we've got a runner, so it's tough to stop everything if we're doing it well, but still we're and we've got a proven quarterback, so I mean those are all good things, but we still are playing a bunch of youngsters up front.
But that youthful line, for the most part, has given Matthew Stafford time to throw the football. The Dallas Texas junior has over 100 attempts this season without an interception, and he's glad about that.
I'm pretty happy. It's good. It's good not to turn the ball over, obviously. Still, there's room for improvement. I missed some throws that I wish I could have back, and like every game. But I feel like I'm playing pretty well.
Georgia will have to contend with a good Alabama defensive line tonight. It is anchored, and I mean anchored, by nose tackle Terrence Cody, a junior college transfer who tips the scale at an estimated 365 pounds, down from around 400. And the Dogs have 300-pound freshman center Ben Jones waiting to lock horns with him.
Oh, we got a true freshman on him? That's not good. Ben's a tough kid, but, I've not seen anybody that would be a match for this guy on Saturdays or Sundays, probably. Just one-on-one. I mean, he is a beast when you talk about big, strong guys. And then McClain, he's a big man, 250-pounder, downhill, run-through kind of guy, and very confident player right now. A year ago he was freshman, figuring it out, but very confident player.
So Bama is tough up the middle with Cody and linebacker Rolando McClain, who is the team's leading tackler. Georgia's top stopper is potential All-SEC backer Rennie Curran, who has 29 tackles, including 5 for a loss and 3 sacks, which also leads the team. Fellow linebacker Darryl Gamble on his teammate Rennie Curran.
He could track the ball from wherever he's at. He's just great in open space. He gets to the quarterback, gets to the ball carrier. I guess he just really understands, he does a lot of extra film study just to understand, what plays they're going to run. He has great expectation of what's going to happen.
Well, it's no mystery what will happen tonight with the Alabama offense. They will run the football. Glenn Coffey, freshman Mark Ingram, Roy Upchurch, and last year's leading rusher for the Tide, Terry Grant, have pushed the Crimson Tide to the top of the SEC in rushing. Dogs cornerback Asher Allen says Bama runs well. He's going to be involved in trying to stop it.
You just got to be sound, making sure your eyes are right, making sure that you're focused and things like that. Because just like you said, they've been able to run the ball so, great this whole year. And, play action is obviously a big thing for them. And I think that, if your eyes aren't right and your technique's not good, obviously you can give up the big play, and that's what we can't do.
Georgia, by the way, is first in the league in rushing defense, allowing only 46 yards a game. Another department in which the Dogs are first, but not happy about it, penalties. 43 of them already this year for an average of 89 yards a game. And while those mistakes haven't cost the Dogs yet in the win column, senior receiver Mohamed Massaquoi, who is second on the team with 14 catches, knows less yellow on the field would be a lot better.
Yeah, we definitely had to cut out some of the penalties. We put ourselves in a bad position with some of these self-inflicted wounds. So moving on into the season, that could possibly come and bite us if we don't correct them now. We're just going to try to make sure we stay more disciplined and continue to play aggressive, but avoid some of the silly mistakes.
A couple of other notes here. Neither team has allowed any points in the first quarter this season, and Alabama has not trailed in a game this year. If Georgia can score first and play out front, it could be the advantage it needs. Like the saying goes, if you're not the lead dog, then the scenery never changes. The Bulldogs go for 4 straight over the Tide tonight as we black it out between the hedges. Now back to our tailgate hosts, who have probably blacked out a few times themselves. Hondo, Lauren, and Z.
No comment, Scott. Thanks. That's Scott Howard, your play-by-play man for tonight with Georgia football on the air at 7:45. Eric Zier, Lauren Smith, and Hondo down at the tailgate with Tony Schiavone right now, and people are getting ready for the dog walk, and they are stoked.
Did you miss that bone-crushing hit or a long TD toss? Catch up on Mondays at noon and 9 p.m. when CSS rebroadcast today's game. Be sure to tune in and watch the rebroadcast of Georgia football on CSS Mondays at noon and 9 p.m. And in volleyball last night, Georgia lost to Kentucky 3-1. We lost in soccer to Florida down in Gainesville 2-1 in overtime.
Oh, that's a bummer. Well, Florida lost by a goal today, too.
Yes,
they lost by a point today, too, to Ole Miss. 31-30, the final there, folks. Checking other scores on the Plumbers and Pipefitters Union Local 72. They're late in the second quarter now with Auburn leading Tennessee 14-6. Finals, Eric.
Yeah, some other finals. Hondo, Northwestern over Iowa, 22-17. Hondo, that takes Northwestern to 5-0 on the year already, so off to a great start up there. Pittsburgh over Syracuse, 34-24. The Tar Heels of North Carolina getting the Hurricanes of Miami, 28-24. Michigan State 42, Indiana 29. The Dukies of Duke 31, Virginia 3. Texas A&M clipping Army 21-17. Boston College all over Rhode Island 42-0. And the Citadel takes care of Western Carolina 34-7. All those are finals again.
Duke beat Virginia 31-3.
31-3.
And everybody got excited when Southern Cal goes and beats Virginia.
Yeah, I was about to say, is Duke now going to move into the number 1 slot in the nation? Man, oh, Shevitz. That's the great Eric Zier, by the way, folks. For those of you who remember Eric's exploits between the hedges, he was something else. Somebody else who's something else is Dennis Felton. He's coming up in just a minute. Eric will take us around the SEC and more when the Verizon Wireless Tailgate Show continues from Athens, GA on the Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network. Everybody, welcome back to the Verizon Wireless Tailgate Show. And it's time for us right now to have our little flashback, and it's presented by our good friends at Miller Lite. And here's our Bulldog flashback. And who better than Lauren Smith? Lauren.
Well, great. It's good to have Gigi Smaha here with us. And we're trying to get George Patton on the phone. I hope that will work out because they teamed up. Here we go with the headset for Gigi. In 1965, Georgia beat Alabama with a flea flicker play, and everybody remembers the flea flicker play, but there was another play that was pretty significant in that game. That was when Gigi Smaha, who was a sophomore, crashed into Steve Sloan. The ball flutters up in the air, and George Patton, looking for glory, grabbed the ball and raced, I don't know, how many yards did you remember? 76?
About 70 yards.
For a touchdown, and that enabled Georgia to take a 10-0 lead. What do you remember about the play, Gigi?
I remember I was I was a sophomore, and I was only 18 years old, and it was my first varsity game. And Coach Russell put a lot of emphasis on teaching us how to try to get a real good jump on the ball. And that particular play, I got an extremely good jump on the snap, and I was able to run through their offensive tackle before he could ever get set up. And that gave me a free shot at Sloan at about another 5 yards and hit him in the small of his back on a dead run, and ball popped up in the air. George caught it, and I'm laying on the ground with Sloan. And I looked down, and I saw George running, and I always knew George was fast, but I swear he was running a 900 pace towards that goal line.
Well, do we have George with us by now? Okay, George, we're recalling that play when you scored against Alabama in 1965. Gigi just told us how he made the play happen for you.
Easy.
He made it easy for you. Did you outrun about 3 defenders in your recollection?
Well, all I did was look up there, and there's a ball floating around in the air, and I caught it. And I think the year before I'd been caught at Auburn on a tackle-eligible pass, and I was going to make sure I didn't get caught that time, so I ran as hard as I possibly could to the end zone.
Well, George, we're sorry you can't be with us today, because if you were, you'd see all these people out here wearing Kent Lawrence's number. What in the world's going on?
Well, that's because Kent was much faster than me and Gigi, I bet you.
Well, I'm referring to Noshawn Marino, who wears number 24, but I thought you all would catch my little wisecrack there.
All right. Well,
I woke up the kids.
How many popular people are number 76? They don't even remember that number at all.
Well, what I remember about you is that your great passing performance in the Cotton Bowl. You remember that, Gigi?
Sure do. It was a great pass.
Well, shoot, man. Fortunately, Coach Dooley let me do that.
Well, George started his career as a quarterback at Georgia, moved to defensive tackle, made All-American. That's a pretty good switch. Gigi, well, how do you compare yourself to George? You're more of a bull rusher. George was a little finesse, but how did you
I was always in George's shadow because George was a true All-American. And that play against Alabama, I'm sure it had a lot to do with him becoming an All-American, which he truly did deserve. He was that type of a player.
All right, Gigi Smaha, we thank you for joining us, and also George Patton talking about the 1965 upset of Alabama here in Sanford Stadium.
All right, thank you, Lauren, and thank you, George and Gigi. Great to have them on the air with us. Of course, George was part of that Vince Dooley roast that we did about a month ago, which was terrific. And you can watch highlights from the Vince Dooley roast on Channel 1 On Demand from Comcast. Go to Get Local and look for the Dooley roast. And our friends at Coca-Cola and Coke Zero want to remind you to grab 3 12-packs of any Coca-Cola product at Kroger and get $1 off the purchase of the official UGA Rally Towel. Coke Zero tastes exactly like Coca-Cola. It's a big taste. And, man, when you're talking about a big game, we're talking about tonight. It's Georgia and Alabama. Eric Zaire is standing by. We'll talk about Florida's upset loss today, LSU against Tennessee against Auburn, and take you around the SEC in just a moment.
Hello, Bulldog Nation. My name is Max Jewell. I'm a 5th grader at St. Jude the Apostle Catholic School in Atlanta, Georgia. I'd like to wish Larry Munson a happy birthday and say, "Go Dogs!" The Verizon Wireless Tailgate Show will be right back after these words from the Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network.
This is Gino Kelly from
Coming up within about 15 minutes or so, how to win tickets for Georgia versus Tennessee and Georgia, Florida. Right now, though, we're in the Classic City. We have a top 10 slobber knocker ready to go between the hedges, Georgia and Alabama. And right now, we're going to take you around the SEC, presented by our dear friends at AirTran Airways. Did you hear about the special that they did for Larry?
I did not hear about it.
Yeah, it's terrific. The AirTran people just, they love Larry, and how many
they should.
How
Absolutely.
many major corporations do a discount based on a retiring guy? They have 43 different cities, $86 fares to 43 different cities for a week.
That is
Isn't that
fantastic.
Cool?
That
I
is
just
great.
thought that was cool. Larry's going to be 86 tomorrow, folks, and he retired after 43 years, of course. But right now it's time to talk about the SEC and a final from earlier today. 4th-ranked Florida hosted Ole Miss and the Gators, and Ole Miss, the Rebels pulled out a 31-30 upset, Eric.
Well, I'll tell you what, just a great start for the Bulldog Nation. Anytime the Gators lose, it's a big deal. But, this Ole Miss football team is a team that has got talent. They haven't put it all together yet this year, really until today, and they go win it. And that Florida team is a good football team. For the Bulldog Nation, we need to keep in mind that we still have to go win and beat them.
Yeah.
It's not over by any stretch of the imagination, but seeing the Gators lose, especially in the swamp, boy, it is a sweet feeling. The only thing that's sweeter is when Spurrier loses. That's it.
Yep. Okay. Well, Tim Tebow today, 24 of 38, 319 yards passing with 1 TD. He also had 2 rushing TDs. Eric Zeier, at what point do they go to the well too often and wear him out?
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't think they've gone to the well that too much this year.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I don't think they've done it enough. I think they've been in some pretty tough football games. Going into this game, he didn't have any rushing touchdowns, only five touchdowns throwing the football, whereas last year, he just was touching it almost every time.
He was a 20-20 guy.
It really was. He was. And
Yeah.
I think they're going to have to almost get back to that some. I think they've tried to get away from that so they don't wear him out. But I think they need to get him doing those kind of things to win on a consistent basis at a very high level.
Percy Harvin with a lot of touches for the Florida Gators today and a lot of yards. 13 receptions for 186 yards and 1 touchdown. He also rushed the ball 10 times for 82 yards. The key play in the game, three key plays in the game. One was Javon Sneed passing to Shea Hodge with about 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. 86-yard touchdown pass that gave Ole Miss, with the extra point, a 31-24 lead. I have to tell you, I was watching up in the press box, and as soon as Shea Hodge caught that ball, and I could see he had all that open green in front of him, I was standing with a bunch of people, and I started going, "Run, Lindsey, run."
Well, I'll tell you exactly when that play happened. I was actually driving in to come to our show, and I was driving right down the street. You had everybody tailgating. The tailgaters erupted as soon as Ole Miss scored. It was just like we were playing.
That's fantastic. Okay, well, then Florida scored a touchdown, had the extra point blocked, and then on 4th and 1.5 late in the game, they were unable to convert with Tebow carrying the ball. Back to games in progress. We've got Tennessee playing against Auburn right now down on the plain. It's halftime, and it's 14-6. The Tigers lead the Vols, which is good news for the Bulldogs, Eric.
Yeah, it really is. And this Auburn football team, I think you saw last week against LSU just how good they are. They dropped to number 15 in the national rankings, but this Auburn football team is very good. They're going to get more and more comfortable with these new coordinators that are out there. That defense from Auburn is really good. They're giving Tennessee some different looks right now, creating some frustration. But I'll tell you what, if Tennessee does not start to improve very, very quickly, the Wolves are about to come out in force after Phil Fulmer.
Oh, they'd be knocking on the door. There's no doubt about that, my friend. Tennessee came into the game with a 1-2 record. 1-3 will not sit well in Knoxville. You were talking about the Auburn defense. The Auburn defense got a little break when Jonathan Crumpton fumbled in the end zone. Auburn fell on it for an Auburn touchdown. 2 field goals today for Tennessee, a 47 and 35 yards. Arkansas is in the midst of a brutal run against 4 straight top 15 teams. The Hogs are in Austin at present, and we have 7th-ranked Texas leading the Razorbacks 23-3 in the second quarter.
Yeah, and Arkansas just coming off of that beating last week at the hands of Alabama and going into play Texas. That is another very, very strong football team, obviously at number 7 in the country. It's going to be a long run for Petrino and his group out there in Arkansas. It's not an easy run. It's just going to get tougher for them.
All right, coming up tonight, 5th-rated LSU welcomes Mississippi State to Death Valley. We have kickoff for that one at 7:30 on the Bayou. In the Commonwealth at 7 o'clock, undefeated Kentucky guns for its 4th victory, as the Wildcats will be hosting Western Kentucky in that game. And also at 7, our old friend Neil Callaway and UAB play at South Carolina. Even though the Blazers are 1-3, South Carolina didn't exactly blow out 1AA Wofford last week, Eric.
No, they really didn't. And you know that Spurrier is going to get that South Carolina team up to play. We wish all the best for Coach Callaway and his Blazers, but I think you're going to start to see the South Carolina team step up their level of play a little bit. I think it's going to start this week.
Okay, 21st ranked Vanderbilt is off and awaits Auburn in Nashville next Saturday. That's it for our SEC Roundup. Join Eric and me after the game tonight for Dog Talk. That's right after Lauren and Coach Richt in the Alpha Insurance Locker Room Show. Stay with us if you'd like free tickets for Georgia's game against Tennessee here between the hedges in 2 weeks. We'll tell you how to win in just a bit. Also coming up, the Dogs demolish the Devils in the desert. Highlights from Georgia's drilling Arizona State on the Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network. Man, the band just cranked it up here in Athens not 2 seconds ago. And and everybody, you're right, Eric, everybody in the drum corps has blacked out his face. So everybody's wearing black. We got blacked out faces from the Red Coat Band, and we are getting ready for Georgia and Alabama. This segment is presented by our friends at the Georgia Farm Bureau, and here's Lauren Smith.
Before we talk to Dennis Felton, I just saw Chris Wegman at WSB. He said, Eric was doing such a good job, wants to give you a bonus. Here's the blackout shirt for tonight.
Oh, man, nice. Zaire gets the blackout shirt.
I do get the blackout shirt. I need it. I'm not sure if it's big enough for me right now, but we're going to throw it on.
And now we're going to talk to Dennis Felton, who's on the phone with us. He couldn't come down here and join us because he's busy recruiting over at the Coliseum. Dennis, after that great, sensational win of the ACC tournament last year, things have got to be going up on the graph for Georgia basketball. What's the latest?
Well, you know what? We're feeling really good about where we're at and, you know, accomplishing that SEC championship, and we're real excited about this season, Lauren. We've got a very young but very talented and exciting group of guys to attack this year with.
Well, you got something to build on. What have you been telling your team that's coming back? You're about to get ready to start fall practice, but what's your message to your team getting ready for this season?
Well, I've probably had to talk less than I've ever had to talk, Lauren, because they've had that championship experience, and especially, you know, considering the way they had to win it. You know, they had to win it in such an excruciating and challenging way that they learned a lot about themselves and learned a lot about what we're about as we're putting this program, you know, in a better place. And I think, you know, we had a fantastic spring and summer, and we're having a terrific fall. And what I mean by that is our players have just been attacking the off-season with a lot of passion and a lot of anticipation, you know, towards this next season. And then, you know, another good thing happened. We had a terrific recruiting year, and we've got just a real exciting class of 5 freshmen in here. And they're really exciting, not only because they're talented, but because they're such high caliber people. And you combine them with the returning players that we have that are such good kids, and they've bonded so well. They've you know, the freshmen have really earned the respect and appreciation of our returning players, because our returning players know that we're going to be counting heavily on those freshmen, because, you know, we had some, you know, we lost a couple of guys with Sundiata and Dave Bliss, but they've also got a lot of respect for them because they came in here with a very humble, hungry attitude about doing something special as Georgia Bulldogs. So I'm really excited about not only the potential from the talent standpoint, but from the kind of explosive kind of chemistry that this year's team can have. So, and now this fall, we've just been hard at it, you know, having individual workouts, conditioning in the weight room, and just getting ready to start practice October 17th.
Well, that's good news, and I know we're going to enjoy a great winter with you and your Bulldogs. We thank you for taking the time to join us. Season tickets are available now, so get your tickets and come out and support the Bulldog basketball this winter. And as we say goodbye to Coach Felton, let's tell everybody, remind them that Andy Landers, the women's coach, and Hugh Durham, the former men's coach, along with Terry Hogue, have just been elected to the state of Georgia Hall of Fame. And we say hello to Mary Patterson, our leukemia guest today, and her parents, Chris and Kelly, our brothers, Henry, Charlie, and Gus, our special friends of Mackworth.
All right, thank you, Lauren. We'd also like to remind everybody that Larry Munson is going to be on the radio with us. That'll be coming up within an hour for sure. Larry's going to join us to talk about today's game and about his retirement from doing the play-by-play for Georgia basketball. Eric, before we go to break, and you're going to come back with me in just a second. We're doing highlights from last week. That'll be fun. A.J. Green Day out in Arizona. Last week, we weren't sure whether we were going to embarrass some folks I'm going to embarrass them this week, okay? Different people.
Same thing again.
It's the same thing again. Blake Lewis of Duluth, Jennifer Hammond of Alpharetta, Ernest Smallman of Atlanta. I got to guess that you people are all Georgia fans. We called out your names this week to win tickets for tonight's Georgia-Alabama game, and you didn't call back. It's real easy. There's no purchase necessary. You register like these people did, but you got to listen then. And when your name is called back out, then you call back at the right time. You can still get free tickets for Tennessee, Auburn, even Georgia, Florida. Log on to freebulldogtickets.com to register, then listen for your name to win. Highlights from last week against Arizona State as we get prepared for Georgia and Alabama. This is the Verizon Wireless Tailgate Show on the Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network. Welcome back to the Lowe's stage for a blackout tonight in Athens. Blackout, you should see the dog walk in front of us. You could probably hear the Red Coat Marching Band and the drum corps getting after it. The dogs will become rolling through here probably within about 45 minutes. And I've got the legendary Eric Zier standing here with me. Let's take a look at our Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Union Local 72 scoreboard. 14th ranked Ohio State beat Minnesota today 34-21. But the next two finals that we have from the top 25 are upsets. Maryland went into Clemson and knocked off the 20th ranked Tigers 20-17. And if you haven't heard it yet, get ready to pound your dashboard, baby, because Ole Miss rolled into the swamp and upset 4th ranked Florida 31-30.
Boy, is it ever good to be a Gator hater, especially today. And then you also have Texas, number 7 Texas, 31-3 over Arkansas. That game is at the half. Number 25 Fresno State, only up by 4 now over UCLA, 20-16, and at the half, number 15 Auburn up 14-6 over Tennessee.
3 other halftime scores for you. 9th ranked Wisconsin leads Michigan 19-0. Houston trying to pull off an upset of Skip Holtz and the East Carolina Pirates, 21-10. Houston leads East Carolina. That's at the half. And also at the half, Navy is shutting out 16th ranked Wake Forest. It's 17-0, the midshipmen in that one. Time for us now to take you through Scott Howard's highlights from last Saturday's desert drilling of Arizona State, presented by AT&T. We were 10 minutes into the game before Georgia mounted the first scoring drive of the night. Starting at their own 9-yard line, the Bulldogs rode Matthew Stafford's arm to the Arizona State 9 as the first quarter came to a close. Then, on the first play of the second quarter,
here's Stafford. Turns away from the center, spins towards the sideline, brings Figgins in motion from the left to the right. 2 tight end offense, I formation for Georgia. First and goal from the Arizona State 8. Toss sweep to Marino, the tail. At the 10, at the 5. He leaps, he dives! Touchdown, no shot!
Yeah, and Hondo, if you thought the leap in midfield was something special, this leap last week, he really took off like Superman. Every time he touches the ball, he's a human highlight film. He's amazing to watch, and boy, it's nice to see it when he gets it going.
That's so funny that you said that, because I had jotted down notes earlier. Has he replaced Dominique as this generation's human highlight film?
On the football field, he may just do that.
Absolutely. Blair Walsh nailed the extra point for the Dogs, and we drew first blood in the desert. Georgia's defense harassed Sun Devils quarterback Rudy Carpenter into 3 straight incomplete pass attempts, and that set up this punting situation.
Arizona State had excellent field position. 1st and 10 at their own 40. They go 3 and out and punt it away. And we block it! Ball is bouncing at the 40, and there's a scramble for it. Georgia has blocked it. Look like Massaqua's fallen on it for Georgia at the 43-yard line. The Dogs got in there and blocked the punt of Thomas Weber. That's the first block that Arizona State has allowed, and the Dogs' special teams come up with a huge one here.
Redshirt walk-on freshman Zach Renner with the punt block. We'll talk to Coach Richt about that block in just a little bit, so stay with us here on the Verizon Wireless Tailgate Show. We'll talk about Zach Renner as well. That gave the Bulldogs huge momentum in the ball at the Arizona State 43.
Yeah, huge momentum, Hondo, but we weren't able to capitalize immediately right there. But you could tell as soon as that happened, the whole dynamic of the game started to change. The momentum, that old mojo started to get on the side of the Bulldogs.
Blair Walsh's 54.5-yard field goal attempt after the the turnover, struck the left upright, and was no good. But Georgia's defense forced a fumble 2 plays later, and the Dogs were on the move again. 2 plays into the UGA series.
Need 1 yard for a first down. Chandler and Figgins into the ball game. They line up on the left side. I formation. Figgins in motion behind the line of scrimmage. Handoff goes to Noshawn. No, they fake it. Stafford's going to pass it, and it is caught inside the 10-yard line. Caught by A.J. Green, the 6'4 freshman. Went high. The Dogs ran play action, and Green went high, climbed the ladder, and brought it down at the 8 or 9 yard line.
Yeah, A.J. went high, and he did that several times. Really, his coming out party. There's been so much talk, so much hype. We've been wanting to see what A.J. Green could do. We saw it last week in Arizona.
Boy, didn't we. Pardon me, Eric. Noshawn was good. Georgia then handed the ball to number 24 at that point for 2 straight plays. The second one struck oil in the desert.
Stafford under center. Same formation for Georgia. They bunched 3 receivers in a triangle tight on the right side. Marino is the lone setback, and Massaquoi out to the left. Chappus in motion, back and forth. Give it to Noshawn. Cuts back middle of the field. Touchdown! Straight up the gut, Noshawn Marino. A huge hole for Noshawn, and the Dogs go out front 13-0.
Yeah, and you look at the success that the Dogs have had in the red zone so far this year. You have to attribute that to that offensive line and to Noshawn. The ability to run the football once you get down inside the 20, it's imperative. It's going to be imperative tonight.
Boy, we'll sure see it tonight. That's right. Noshawn with his 9th TD of the year. Blair Walsh was good on the extra point, and the Dogs led 14-0. The Sun Devils countered with a field goal, and when Georgia took over on offense again with only 2 minutes 30 seconds remain in the first half. Now, after a 23-yard Stafford to A.J. Green completion gave the Dogs 1st and 10 in Arizona State territory, that combo hooked up again.
Stafford going to play action, drop back, throw it up again, and Green, did he make a circus catch? He did! Holy smokes, he caught it at the 15. There were 2 maroon jerseys draped all over him, and he used that 6'4" frame to bring it down at the 16-yard line.
We've got to get Scott more excited in these games.
Oh, he sounds great. You know, you can't help but get excited when you see A.J. Green go up. We just found the soft spot there in cover 2. A.J. Green goes up in front, right around 2, with a 3rd defender coming in. He goes up high to go grab it. Just a phenomenal talent, and great to see him come out.
No doubt. The half ended 21-3. Georgia's defense and Noshawn Marino's running dominated the second half, and the Dogs cruised to a 27-10 win over Arizona State in the farthest from Athens regular season game in 48 years. Those are your highlights. Tonight we tee it off at 7:45. Georgia and Alabama, both teams in the top 10. Florida has lost. Southern Cal lost Thursday night. We'll return with Coach Rick's Power Play in just a few minutes and more after these words on the Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network.
Georgia will get a crack from the 25-yard line. Trailing for the first time 23-20. They'll line up in the I formation with Thomas Brown, the tailback. Bailey to the right and Henderson to the left. The tight end steps off the line of scrimmage. That's Chandler. He goes in motion to the left side. Play action fake to Brown. Stafford wants to go for it all right here. He throws to the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown! Georgia wins! Mikey Henderson on the reception. One and done, baby. And there is a huge dog pile in the far corner of the end zone as Georgia has beaten Alabama 26-23.
Wowee, that was a lot of fun a year ago. Welcome back to the Verizon Wireless Tailgate Show with Zaire, Lauren, Hondo, and somebody's daddy's with us.
How about that? John Stafford has now joined us. He's familiar with the Georgia campus. Got his master's here. Worked with the swimming team. Friend of Jack Powley. John, you didn't hear Scott Howard's call. I guess you were in the stadium, but maybe you had a headset on. Did you happen to hear the call?
You know, I didn't at that time, Lauren. I was in the stadium. I was in the far end zone, and I was with some good friends, and it was just bedlam. It was just so much fun.
Well, now, when you heard that call, what did it do to you? Did it give you a little chill bump or two?
Absolutely. It brought it all back. It was just a great moment and a lot of fun for all those boys who were out on the field and everybody who fought hard during that game. It was great.
Now, you said to me a few minutes ago you're going to leave here and go to the dog walk, and it's very important to you. Can you give us a perspective as a parent what the dog walk means to the Georgia players?
You know, I think it's just really a special thing. I think when they come through there, you know, it's a chance. Frankly, I get a chance to kind of give Matthew a hug and wish him good luck, and all the parents do that, and we do it for all the boys that we know, and I think it's a special moment, certainly for the parents, and it's a great time for the boys as well.
Well, Matthew seems to play well when there's more riding on it. Was he that way in high school?
Yes, he was. He's been that way forever. It didn't matter what sport he was playing. He liked the bigger the game, the better, and the more pressure. You know, I asked him once, are you feeling nervous when he was 15 going into Texas Stadium with 35,000 people there in a playoff game when he was 15? And he said, no, I'm excited. And that's a big difference. So that's the way he is.
Well, do you talk to him daily, perhaps? You all talk about what's happening at practice and what the game plan is for Saturday?
Lauren, you probably talk to him more than I do. I have to kind of take an appointment, you know, to be able to get in there. He's got so many different events and demands on his time. And, you know, our thumbs are well calloused from text messaging back and forth. But ever since high school, I really have let him and the coaching staff, whoever it happens to be, work out their football. And so we talk after the games and some of the things that happen, but I never know game plans or anything on the front end.
Well, one thing that I particularly like about him, there's a lot to like about Matthew, is that he's a team guy. He doesn't want to take anything away from the rest of the team, and I think that's a fine attribute. He's a team guy.
You know, he really is. I'll tell you, I really knew that happened in that same game when he was 15, or a game after that. He lost that game, and a reporter ran up to him while he was standing in line waiting to shake other players' hands. And they said, you know, how's it feel to lose your first game? Because he never lost one in the 7th, 8th, 9th, and at that point till the 10th grade. And he said to him, and it was in the paper, so it was good it was there, he said, you know, me losing a game doesn't matter. What matters is these seniors will never get to wear this uniform again. And I knew right then that Matthew gets it. It is all about team.
All right, John Stafford, thanks for joining us, and go over there and give Matthew a double. Well, give him a quadruple hug for me and Eric Shivani over there, Eric, Zaire, and Neil.
I'll sure do it. Thanks so much, and go Dogs.
Go Dogs. Thanks, John. Good to see you. All right, good luck. Okay, very nice. John Stafford joining us. What a treat for us as we get ready for the sun to set here in Athens. You can hear the band playing behind us. The dog walk is getting ready to start. It's about 40 feet away. Coach Richt is going to give us his power play of the game and a little bit of an analysis of tonight's Alabama-Georgia contest. Damon Evans is next with Scott Howard. Eric Zaire standing by as well.
Hello, Bulldog Nation. My name is Nikki Williamson. I'm a 5th grader at St. Jude the Apostle Catholic School in Atlanta. I'd like to wish Larry Munson a happy birthday and say, go Dogs. The Verizon Wireless Tailgate Show will be right back after these words on the Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network.
Bulldog fans, congratulations and welcome to Dr. Laura Dunn Jolly, named the new dean of the UGA College of Family and Consumer Sciences. Dr. Jolly was a University of Tennessee professor and nationally known scholar in the areas of retailing and merchandising. She succeeds Dean Sharon Nichols, who left the deanship in June of 2006 to return to the college faculty. And that's another Bulldog point of pride.
Welcome back to the Verizon Wireless Tailgate Show. We are getting it ready for Georgia and Alabama here tonight. Should be a great one. Hope you're wearing your black. Scott Howard with you, along with Georgia's Director of Athletics, Damon Evans. And Damon, Georgia returned from a very successful trip out west to Arizona State. A lot of folks made the trip out there. It was good to see all the red and black in the stands. And we know that Georgia will travel to outside the region for future football games. What is your role in the scheduling for basketball or gymnastics or baseball? Do you play a big role in that?
No, I don't play as big of a role in the other sports as I do with regard to football. Most of the coaches in those sports handle their schedule. I do sign off on schedules for the majority of our sports, or the sport administrator does, so I am aware of the schedules, but the role is not as significant as it is in football.
Is it basically just what fits within the budget of each sport?
Yeah, each sport, some sports have to pay guarantees. For example, in the sport of men's basketball and women's basketball, they go out, they do their schedule. I'm aware of it. In men's basketball, Arthur Johnson works with Dennis Felton closely on the schedule. Try to make sure that we get good games, maintain a competitive schedule, and one that meets our needs. But I am well aware of them all.
Any thoughts on your playing career with Alabama?
Interesting. I remember Alabama being over here, and they were ranked high at the time, and we had the opportunity, and we did. We beat them. A very good team, very tough team, a team usually with a lot of speed. And when you get to go up against a team like Alabama, it's always exciting. I didn't have very many catches at the University of Georgia while I was here, but I did have several against Alabama.
Earlier this week, the legendary voice of the Bulldogs, Larry Munson, announced his retirement effective immediately. The university really lost one of its great football icons. Your thoughts on Larry's retirement and what he's meant to the University of Georgia over the years?
First of all, we definitely have lost someone who is so special to this institution. When you think of broadcasting Georgia's games, the name Larry Munson comes to mind. He's been around for such a long period of time. Legendary calls that are just unbelievable, and that we'll cherish those times that we had with Larry. But I am happy that he got to go out on his terms. I always wanted to be respectful. This was Larry's decision to do what he wanted because he is the play-by-play or was the play-by-play guy at the University of Georgia. So we'll move forward. We got you and Eric in the booth to handle the games for us, and we're excited about that. But make no mistake about it, Larry Munson is a legend, will always be one, and I want to wish him the best.
All right, it's time now for the Lowe's Senior Athlete of the Week, and tell us who that is.
Muhammad Massaquoi is the Lowe's Senior Class Award recipient this week. Muhammad is a flanker on the football team from Charlotte, North Carolina. I've had the opportunity to get to know Muhammad. He's someone who's very involved in the community, has worked up in this office, and has a passion for not only playing football but doing things right academically, and is really looking forward to a very, very bright future. He's currently the recipient of the Mr. and Mrs. Leon Farmer Jr. and Mr. and Mrs. Leon Farmer III endowed scholarships, which he has definitely put to good use. Muhammad will be graduating this December with a degree in psychology. I cannot say enough about this young man, as he has been selected as the Director's Academic Roundtable member on several different occasions. He continues to represent us well in the community on various reading programs, mentoring programs, and volunteering for various elementary schools in the city. It's my pleasure to give this recognition to Muhammad Massaquoi.
All right, that's our Lowe's Senior Class Award recipient, Muhammad Massaquoi, in our chat with Georgia's Director of Athletics, Damon Evans. And we'll come back for more of the Tailgate Show as we count it down to Georgia and Alabama kickoff just a few moments away here on the Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network.
Hold on.
Number 3, Georgia. Number 8, Alabama. We're just about 2 hours from kickoff, and that time check till kickoff is presented by Solomon Brothers. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Verizon Wireless Tailgate Show, where tonight we're going to check some other scores for you right now, and I guess in just a couple of minutes, Coach Rick will join us with the power play, and Eric and I will have a scattering report of tonight's game for you as well. Eric, what do we have finals today? Ohio State beat Minnesota 34-21. Two other upsets, though, in the top 25 as 20th-ranked Clemson fell at home to Maryland 20-17. And number 4, Florida, bit the dust against Ole Miss 31-30. Rebs win in the swamp.
Boy, I love it every time you say that. Other top 25 scores in the third quarter. Number 7, Texas, 31-3 over Arkansas. Number 25, Fresno State, 20-16 over UCLA. Number 15, Auburn, also in the third quarter. 14 over Tennessee with 6. Number 9, Wisconsin, 19. Michigan, 0. Number 23, East Carolina, has got 10. Houston, up on them right now, 21-10. So Houston 21, East Carolina 10. And then Navy 17 over number 16, Wake Forest 17-0. All those scores in the third quarter.
All right, other third quarter scores for you. Purdue and Notre Dame are locked up at 14-all early in the second half. Also early in the second half, West Virginia leads Marshall 21-3. Second quarter score right before the half, Florida State leads Colorado 19-7.
And Hondo, it's time now for a scouting report of the Alabama Crimson Tide, sponsored by Arrow Exterminators.
All right, and it's opener Alabama swamped Clemson like Hurricane Ike. Last week, the Tide drowned Arkansas for a 21-0 lead after 14 minutes. Is Bama that good, Eric?
Yeah, I think Bama is that good. You know, you look at Nick Saban teams, they're always going to be solid defensively. They're really starting to establish their running game right now. They've come out, they've been very crisp. So, very good in the terms of how many penalties they're having against them, taking care of the football. They're getting turnovers. This is a good football team. We've got to be ready to go.
All right, okay, let's zero in on the Alabama rushing attack. The Tide stacked up 328 rushing yards against Arkansas last week. Is Bama that good of a running team?
Well, they're good. Make no mistake about it. I'm not sure if they're great yet. Now, we're going to see that tonight playing against an unbelievable Georgia defense like they're going to see. So, you know, our defense is not what Arkansas looks like, but Glenn Coffey, he can run the rock when he gets it in his hands. They've got some very strong offensive linemen. Andre Smith is one guy to take a look at. He's been doing a great job pushing and creating some lanes for Coffey to run through this year. They've got talent. We've got to shut that running game down.
John Parker Wilson, he's rewritten the Alabama passing record books, but is he a big game quarterback?
You know what? He's a solid player. There's no question about it. I think you beat this Alabama team, though, by getting them in third and long situations. Put it into John Parker's hands. Make him beat you. If Alabama establishes the run tonight and then they can go do what they want and kind of dictate to our defense when to throw it and when to run the football, then John Parker can beat you. But if you get him in third and long situations, I don't think he can beat our defense.
John Parker Wilson has started games at LSU, at Auburn, at Florida, and at Tennessee. He's 0-4 in those games. The Alabama defense, tell us about Mount Cody.
I think that says it all. He is a mountain of a man, and the important thing to know about this is he fits the 3-4 scheme that Nick Saban runs perfectly well. You have to have a massive man in there to play nose guard in that defense. He does it well. He's going to create havoc. He does it against everybody he plays with. So we have to have, and I'm sure we will have, a few special blocking schemes to take care of Mount Cody.
All right, thank you, Eric Zier. Don't forget that after today's game, Georgia, Alabama coming up at 7:45 after the game. Eric and I will take your calls on our new show, Dog Talk. It's been fun so far, hasn't it?
It has been great. Hopefully we keep it great, and we keep winning. It's a whole lot more fun when we win.
It is a whole lot more fun. That's Dog Talk tonight, right after Lauren talks to Coach Richt in the locker room, live from Sanford Stadium. Speaking of Coach Richt, he is standing by. We will have the power play of the game with him, and we'll follow that up with a conversation with Larry Munson live from his house. There is absolutely no reason to go away if your blood runs red and black. This is the Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network. Welcome back to the Verizon Wireless Tailgate Show, where today Georgia and Alabama in a blackout from Sanford Stadium. Hi, everybody. Hondo back with you and joined by Coach Richt now. Last week's power play of the game with Mark Richt is sponsored by Georgia Power, the official power source of the Georgia Bulldogs. Let's head back to the desert and remember late first quarter, scoreless game. Both teams had punted twice. Georgia facing a 3rd and 10 backed up at its own 9-yard line. And let's hear Scott Howard with the call of our power play of the game.
We need 1 yard for a first down. Chandler and Figgins into the ball game. They line up on the left side. I formation, Figgins in motion behind the line of scrimmage. Handoff goes to Noshawn. No, they fake it. Stafford's going to pass it, and it is caught inside the 10-yard line. Caught by A.J. Green, the 6'4 freshman. Went high. The Dogs ran play action, and Green went high, climbed the ladder, and brought it down at the 8 or 9-yard line. 1st and goal, Georgia.
We're joined now by Georgia head coach Mark Richt and Coach A.J. Green. That was the first of many big plays Stafford to Green last week.
It was, and they decided to play some man coverage there, and it was just a 4-man rush. We did a good job of protecting Matthew, and Matthew was standing, I think he was standing just about in the end zone when he cut the ball loose. A.J. just easily shook the defender who was on him and actually made him miss and got a couple yards after the catch. But I thought that was one of the key plays of the game, is because no one was doing anything either side of the ball, and we needed something to spark us, and that play gave us a little breathing room, and we started to roll after that.
Sure did. Rolled 91 yards for the first touchdown of the game, and Georgia went on to beat Arizona State. You talk about he shook a defender. Hey, he shook up Arizona State and probably anybody else who's going to look at the Bulldogs now with over 150 yards in receiving. And all that Matthew and A.J. were able to do in the first half sure did seem to open up the running game for you in the second half.
It did. Two things happened. Like you said, we did get the ball to A.J. a good bit. He had 7 catches, I think, for 150 in the first half, and then I think he got one more catch in the second half. But part of the reason why the running game did pick up is because they decided they had to start doubling the kid. The other reason why is we had enough of a lead where we felt like we just need to keep this thing on the ground and knock out a few first downs too. And as we were trying to do that, we gained probably another 50, 60 yards of rushing. So Noshawn seems to get better as the game goes on, and I mean that's just a good thing for Georgia.
Has the jet lag worn off, and how are your practices this week with us getting back so late, actually early Sunday morning?
I think the guys are fine. I think they did a good job of resting on Sunday. We did get in about 7:30 in the morning Sunday, and we went and got our treatment right away, and then we let them go and just let them sleep as long as they wanted to and try to get back in the routine of things. I did not see many signs of guys really lagging out there. I think we're okay.
Well, after the great win in the desert, now we have the blackout. ESPN Game Day, top 10 against top 10, the whole deal, the whole banana tonight. And what are your thoughts on all of the excitement surrounding this game, Coach?
Well, I think it's wonderful for Georgia. I mean, it's just great for the University of Georgia, for the Georgia Bulldog Nation, for our fans, our players, our parents, the recruits that are coming in. It's just fantastic for us, and I hope we can come out here and get the victory. That'd make it even sweeter. But either way, this atmosphere is going to be like no other in the country, and that's making a statement in itself.
Coach, you had a new look at the offensive line last week. Are you planning to stay with the same guys in the same spots tonight?
We'll start out that way, and we'll roll the rotation around a little bit. I mean, you'll still see, Josh Davis play, and you'll see Keontae Tripp play, and you'll see. I'm trying to think of who the other one is. Cordy Glenn will certainly play. So we'll start the same top 5 as last week, but all those guys will get in there.
Great. How did the 2 freshmen, Ben Jones and Bean Anderson, look in their first career starts once you looked at the tape?
Not bad. Ben did a pretty nice job overall. Of course, he's going to be going up against a real giant this week, but that will test him certainly. But Bean's done a good job. Bean's he's a redshirt freshman. When you see him as a true freshman, you're like, boy, he's going to be something once he starts to get it, and that's what's happening. He's really starting to understand exactly how we need to get things done to the point where we're comfortable with him being a starter, and he's only going to get better. That guy is a very talented guy.
Great. Let's run through some injuries real quick, and you can fill us in. Tavares King had that sweet 41-yard catch and run last week. Will Tavares play tonight?
I don't think Tavares will play. I doubt he'll be in full pads tonight. His ankle is one that just won't let him go.
Rod Battle at defensive end. We've missed him the last 2 weeks. Any chance?
Same thing with Rod. I don't think Rod will play. I don't think he'll be in full gear. We do believe, though, he'll be ready for Tennessee. And we think Tavares has got a good shot at that, too.
All right. Jeremy Lomax and Trip Chandler both had sprained necks last week.
Right. Both those guys are ready to go, and they might have a different neck roll or something there on their shoulder pads. But Jeremy and Chandler both will play. And then, of course, Brandon Sutherland will play. He'll be a personal protector, and he'll also be a wing on our extra point field goal team, but he will not take any scrimmage snaps at the fullback position.
Safety Quentin Banks, is he healthy enough to go tonight, and how comfortable do you feel about him maybe being a little rusty in a big game like this?
Well, I mean, he was certainly a little rusty this week, and, I think adrenaline can help just about anything. But we'll see how much he plays. I'm not sure what Coach Martinez has got in mind for that, but Ron Corson said he's healthy to go. He's on the ready, and we'll just see how much he gets.
All right, thank you, Coach. Thanks for this time. We know it's a busy day with lots of recruits. We'll come back with Coach Richt and the Inside Skinny presently as we gear up for the Dogs and the Tide from the Classic City. This is the Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network. Update on that score from Auburn. Tennessee just put it in for 6, as John Ward would say, but they went for 2, didn't get it. 14-12, 15th rated Auburn leads Tennessee early fourth quarter. Our next interview is sponsored by Georgian Bank, and here's Lauren Smith.
Thank you, Dale. And joining us now, Kathy McMahon, Dr. Kathy McMahon, the first 4-time All-American in any sport at the University of Georgia, and the first lady winner of the Bill Hartman Award. That's quite a distinction, Kathy.
Thank you very much. I'm excited
Congratulations.
about it. Thank you.
Well, what was your reaction when you got the word that you were winning the Bill Hartman Award?
You know, I had 2 reactions. One, I was incredibly humbled by it. I thought, what have I done to deserve this? But my second thought was, there's no way I've been out of school for over 20 years already.
Well, we're quite proud of your athletic accomplishments at Georgia.
Thank you.
But I think to go on and become a doctor, that's even more special. Tell us about your medical work.
Well, I went back to Alabama. I'm from Alabama originally, so this is an especially fun game to come to be a Georgia Bulldog. But I trained in UAB, and I'm now at St. Joe's doing critical care. I spend most of my days in the ICU.
And you haven't been back to the campus in a while, did you say?
Well, I came back for some gymnastics meets. I've not been back for a football game in a while.
Well, this might whet your appetite. Maybe we'll see more of you.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Kathy McMahon, winner of the Bill Hartman Award.
All right, thank you, Lauren. Congratulations, Kathy. Great to have you on. Well, you can hear the band behind us here at the Dog Walk. And joining us on the phone now, live from his house in Athens, Georgia, is the legendary voice of the Bulldogs, Larry Munson. Larry, how you doing, partner?
I'm doing all right. I believe there's a bunch of people, though, in the league that are pretty happy about the way some of these games have gone.
Yeah, how do you like it? I was over at your house watching Florida and Ole Miss earlier today.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised. You know, you don't think that Florida's at that level, that they're still a full step ahead of most teams, and then all of a sudden there it was. It was a good ball game to watch, I'll tell you that.
Absolutely. Well, Larry, you've retired now, and the announcement was made, and for some people a shock, but I don't think it came as a shock to you. And why don't you just tell everybody how you're feeling and how fine you are?
Oh, I'm fine, and I'm looking forward to retirement whenever I get a chance to enjoy it. It'll be a little bit of a while, but I'm looking forward to that because I need to fish. I'm way behind.
We need a fish fry.
Yeah.
That'll work. We need a fish fry. That's good. Hey, Muntz, how about tonight's game, Georgia and Alabama?
Wow. Swing either way, I guess. Spread, I think, was 6.5 or something. I would just as soon take the 6.5 and give it to them because I think we're an edge on them, but we'll have to see.
Okay, and now I'm not going to ask you for an answer, but I want you to consider joining us on the broadcast in future games, Larry. Okay?
Yeah, I will.
Okay, good, because nobody wants to see you disappear entirely, all right? And everybody loves you, and I know I speak, from my own heart, as you know, as your friend, and from everybody here at the broadcast team, and all I'm getting are nods out of Zaire and Lauren. It's radio, guys. They can't see you.
I bet Zaire's head's rattling.
Oh, and Scott's up there, too. Great. Well, Scott, you want to jump in?
Muntz, you got any last-minute advice for us?
Just get some good seats, Scott, and then guard them with a gun.
Well, I've got the best seat in the house right up here, so
yeah, I know.
We'll keep it warm for you.
All right.
All right. Larry, thanks a bunch.
Okay, thanks, you guys.
All right, Larry Munson joining us from his home here in Athens, and great to hear Larry, and just so everybody knows, Larry's doing great, man. Larry's retired. Larry's doing great. Hey, Dogs fans, the Bulldog Radio Network is looking for the best tailgate crew in Athens each week with the Publix Best Tailgate Contest. You can score yourself a $100 gift certificate from Publix for having the best tailgate. Congratulations to Joe Hill of Stockbridge. He won for our last home game. Our people from the network are out looking for a winner for this week. You can go to WSBRadio.com for details. Okay, picks coming up. Scott Howard, Lauren Smith, Eric Zaire, yours truly. We're going to talk about games earlier today, and, of course, some big ones going on tonight as well.
My name is Rachel Cole. I'm from Bogart and attend Malcolm Bridge Middle School. The Verizon Wireless Tailgate Show will be back right after this on the Georgia Bulldog Radio Network.
Man, And it is loud here at the Tailgate Show because the Bulldogs are walking by with a dog walk right now. Everybody's wearing black. There are a few red hats to accent it, but we are blacked out tonight for Georgia and Alabama in Athens. Welcome back to the Verizon Wireless Tailgate Show. Time now for us to check scores, and thanks to the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Union Local 72 for updating these. Scott Howard, what's going on?
All right, Hondo, here's the top 25 in progress as we have them right now. Number 7, Texas, clobbering Arkansas, 45-3. So 2 weeks in a row, Arkansas is just having a dreadful time. That's in the third period, late in the third. And number 25, Fresno State leading UCLA about midway through the third, 23-22. The Bulldogs on top of the Bruins. In the SEC, 15th-ranked Auburn leads Tennessee 14-12. They are early in the fourth. Number 9, Wisconsin leading Michigan 19-7. They are in the third, late there. Number 23, East Carolina on the short end of a 24-17 score right now to Houston. The Cougars trying to pull the upset. They are starting the fourth quarter there in Greenville, North Carolina. Number 16, Wake Forest, losing to Navy right now. The Midshipmen, 17-10, leading the Demon Deacons with 5 minutes to go in the third. And that's our update in the top 25 right now.
All right, thank you, Scott. Wake Forest battling back in that when they were down 17-0 at the beginning of the third quarter. Well, we're rejoined now by not only Scott, but Eric Zeier and Lauren Smith. And it's time for our broadcast team to make our weekly picks. This segment is sponsored by AT&T, and Joel Williams is keeping score, guys. He's got the scorecard up there. Okay, so we'll do this week, and then we'll update who's in the lead after this week. Okay, after this week, and we're going to start upstairs with Scott Howard. And Scott, 12th ranked Penn State hosts number 22 Illinois. Who do you like?
Well, looked it up, guys.
Go figure.
Fighting Illini are 1-13 in Big Ten openers over the last 14 years, and 2-9 against Penn State since the Nittanies joined the league. And that's good enough for me. Penn State to win easily at home.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to follow right along the man who's doing all the research and all these other games.
Yeah.
I think Penn State's got a chance maybe to run the table this year. I like the Nittany Lions.
Well, I think Joe Paterno is going to coach longer than Alonzo Stagg, so let's let Joe enjoy the ride. I pick Paterno.
Okay, Penn State averaging 52 points a game. Nittany Lions roll. Now we go to Virginia Tech at 3-1, playing at undefeated Nebraska. Lauren?
Who are you picking, Eric? I'm going against you.
Hey, well, listen, I want everybody to know I've set the stage early just so you guys wouldn't get so discouraged you quit. So, we're about to get going on. I'll go ahead and take that challenge. I'm going to pick Virginia Tech.
Well, I think Pelino's got revival at it in Nebraska. I'm going to go with the Cornhuskers.
All right, I'm a Nebraska guy too. Scott?
Well, I'm in trouble because for no particular reason, I like Virginia Tech to win on that road. Look out.
Nice. Okay, Scott, you can lead us off with a couple of teams that played Georgia. Did we play Troy last year, too?
Yeah.
Yeah, we played them both. Yeah. 2 teams that came into Athens, Troy at Oklahoma State. 2 high-scoring offenses. Scott, who do you like?
Yeah, well, Troy won that game in Movie Gallery Stadium in Troy last year, as you recall. And they can be giant killers, but they're not playing the Giants. And Mike Gundy's still a man, and this year he's 41. So I like Okie State to go 4-0 as they make another ripple in Stillwater.
That's your new play-by-play guy for Georgia football this year, folks. Scott Howard.
Oh, my goodness. I'm going to go with Oklahoma State, too. I like that pick.
Lauren?
Heck, I don't know. I'll take Oklahoma State because they're at home.
I'm going with OSU because Oregon State already won this week and Ohio State won today. So I'm with OSU all the way. 13th ranked South Florida at NC State. Eric, who do you like?
I think South Florida is legitimate. I'm going to go with South Florida. They've got a lot of speed, a lot of talent. I like them.
Oh, yeah, they're too strong for NC State, who's got a lot of people injured.
Scott Howard?
I agree with you guys. Give me the Bulls to win in Raleigh.
NC State's quarterback, Russell Wilson, is back. It's not going to make one lick of difference because South Florida is going to bulldoze those guys. Okay, well, thanks, fellas, for all your help on the picks there. Scott Howard, Eric Zeier will have the play-by-play and analysis tonight here in Athens. It's Georgia and Alabama in a blackout.
And Georgia fans, keep up with the latest in Georgia athletics on GeorgiaDogs.com. Read up-to-date stories on the Dogs and subscribe to G Extra to get insider information and watch live events. GeorgiaDogs.com is also the place to get all of your Bulldog gear at the G Shop. the official online store of the Bulldogs. For more information on the Dogs, log on to GeorgiaDogs.com.
All right, thank you, Eric. Don't forget to wake up tomorrow morning and read about the Dogs' victory in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. And while you're looking at the AJC, look for the ad for the Applebee's Bulldog Brunch. In there'll be a secret phrase that phase from Larry Munson. When we call for it and you're the correct caller through, you'll win a football autographed by Larry and a copy of the book What It Means to Be a Bulldog by Tony Barnhart. Tomorrow, 10:30 to noon with Ray Goff and yours truly. It's the Applebee's Bulldog Brunch and that great giveaway from the AJC. Coming up in just a couple of minutes, Mark Richt with the Inside Skinny on tonight's game. This is the Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network. Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Union Local 72 scoreboard. Some finals from earlier today. Let's start with the big un, Eric Zier. What was it?
Say it again. Ole Miss 31, Florida 30. Is that the right score?
That was the right score. Lauren, did you hear that score?
Yeah, and I'm so broken up.
Yeah, Jimmy, did you hear that score? 31-30. Florida goes down, baby. They're on the mat. They're pinned. Goodbye. Let's check some other finals as well. Northwestern improved to 5-0 with a 22-17 win over Iowa today. You had North Carolina beating Miami of Florida 28-24. That game was in Miami. Michigan State won on the road against Indiana 42-29. Spartans are now 4-1. Duke at home improves to 3-1 under David Cutcliffe with a 31-3 thrashing of powerhouse Virginia. Boston College shut out Rhode Island 42-0. And that's about it for right now. We'll update some more scores in just a bit. Lauren has another guest, and he's a great one. This segment is sponsored by Marathon Petroleum. Lauren?
Thank you. Number 28, Jimmy Orr, played for the Baltimore Colts after being Rookie of the Year with the Pittsburgh Steelers and wound up scoring 66 touchdown passes in his NFL career. He led the SEC in receiving when he was at Georgia. Didn't throw to you that much because one platoon football sort of took care of that. You're probably as qualified as anybody to tell us about the talent of A.J. Green, Georgia's freshman receiver. How good is he in your opinion?
Well, it's hard to say how good he is, but he does everything just right from what I've seen. His hands are in the right position. He adjusts to the ball real well. So he's got it all, I believe.
Well, what is special about him, I think great receivers have something special that you can recognize even when they're young and precocious in learning.
Well, the first thing you got to remember is the receiver, you got to get separation from the defensive back in order to give your quarterback a bigger target. And a lot of college players think they can outrun defensive backs, but you got to give them a move. You got to do something other than just have a foot race, because that doesn't give the quarterback enough room to throw it. And they also don't need to be right up against the sideline. You need to be 5 yards inside the sideline and let him throw it over your right shoulder or left shoulder, whatever it is, so he can adjust to the ball.
Well, now you told me.
I learned that when I was here as a freshman.
Sterling Dupree taught you a lot of receiving moves, nuances, right?
I don't know where he learned it, but he taught me.
You told me this week on the phone that A.J. Green can react to the ball in the air. Not many people can do that, can they?
Well, just from what I've seen of him, he seems to be able to do that. And that's pretty good at his height, you know, to be able to adjust. A smaller guy can adjust easier than a big guy, but he's adjusting the ball real well.
Now, he's got outstanding speed. I think a lot of people don't realize he not only has quickness, he has top speed. But I was talking to John Eason, the receiver coach, and he says a lot of fast receivers don't have that burst to the ball, but that this kid has that. Have you noticed that ability in his makeup?
No, I have not, but I haven't seen the film and hadn't been, you know, I've been watching on TV and so forth. But, you know, a receiver usually has a little more speed when the ball's in the air. There's something unique about that. And obviously, you know how slow I was.
Well, 66 NFL touchdowns. If Eric Zier had A.J. Green, he'd have won the Heisman Trophy. All right.
Well, let's get him one. Suit him up.
Thank you, Jimmy Orr.
The great Jimmy Orr. Thank you, Lauren. Jimmy, always great to see you. Wonderful, indeed. Eric, we have a little salute going on here, right? Who do we have first?
We do. In Fountain Inn, South Carolina, WFIS, Joe Lastringer. In Donaldsonville at WJMK, Gil Kelly. In Americus at WISK, Steve Lashley. And in Jessup, WIFO, Charles Hubbard. And finally, in Calhoun at WJTH, Sam Thomas.
What's the inside skinny on today's game from Georgia's head coach, Mark Richt? He'll tell us next. 2 minutes away. Verizon Wireless Tailgate Show, Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network.
Bulldog fans, 2 University of Georgia honors students have been awarded 07-08 Barry M. Goldwater scholarships. That's one of the most prominent national awards for undergraduates pursuing degrees in engineering, mathematics, and science. UGA's Goldwater scholars are Jessica Bryant, a junior cellular biology major from Evans, and Nithya Natarajan, a sophomore genetics and microbiology major from Martinez. And that's another Bulldog point of pride.
Welcome back to the Verizon Wireless Tailgate Show from Athens, GA. The Inside Skinny with Coach Mark Richt is sponsored by BB&T, longtime sponsors of the Bulldogs, and we're quite appreciative of that. Coach, 7 days. Did you keep up the theme this week? After 4 straight weeks in the locker room after the game last week, it was 7 days, man.
Well, yeah, I was just saying, 7 days to the next game, but also 7 days to the open date. And if anybody's thinking about being tired physically or mentally, they can be rest assured that after this ball game they will get an opportunity to rest. So there's no reason to hold anything back mentally or emotionally or physically, and so we need to spend ourselves this week in this cause and hopefully come out with a win.
All right, we have the big top 10 matchup with Alabama. So much to play for. You've been through this a dozen times, 24 times, who knows how many times in your career. Are you psyched? Do you find Mark Richt is more jacked up for a game like this?
Well, yeah, I am. I think everybody is. When you have all the things that surround this game, as you said, a top 10 matchup, SEC matchup, when you've got game day showing up, when you're going to go ahead and black it out and your fans are going to be juiced and your players are going to be very, very excited about the game. It's more fun as a coach. And the older I get and the longer I'm doing it, I'm learning to enjoy it just a little bit more.
That's great to hear. Okay, Coach, Zach Renner last week showed up with a blocked punt, and we were all scrambling up in the play-by-play booth. Who's this guy?
Yeah, everybody was trying to figure out who he was, but Coach Fabris has really done a great job with Zach, working with him and trying to help him understand, the intricacies of blocking a punt. It's not simple to do. You've got to really have a mind to do it, and you got to have the technique to do it. And, with the help of Remarcus Brown coming off the edge, scaring the heck out of that wing player, he goes to get Remarcus, which opened up the next man in, which was Zach. And Zach was there. And, just like a receiver needs to make the play when the ball comes, a punt blocker needs to make the play when he gets there. We've had times, even one time this year, where we overran the punter and we did not block it when we were there. So when you get there, you got to make the play, and Zach did.
Outstanding. Big recruiting weekend for you. Tell us what's going on.
Well, it's just we don't have enough tickets. We don't have enough tickets to handle the recruits that want to come, the high school coaches that want to come. There's no hotels. I mean, I was just talking to some people earlier today, and they're going to have to drive home 4 or 5 hours after the game because there's just nowhere to stay. And, unofficial visits, we can't help them get hotel rooms and all. And I don't think you probably got to ask about a year in advance anyway. So it's for as good as the experience is going to be, it does cause a little problems here and there, but they're good problems.
A side note, it's not every day that a Supreme Court justice visits football practice. Had to be a very exciting day for you and the kids.
Well, it was. Clarence Thomas was in town, and I really didn't know it was going to happen, but early in the day they said he might be able to stop by and say hello to me personally, which was a thrill. And they didn't think he'd have time to speak to the team at all, but I kind of threw it out there for him, and I think his advisors or his bodyguards or whatever was trying to move him on down the road. But once he found out he had an opportunity to say hello to the team, he came out there and spoke to him and wished him luck. And he's a special man, and just to get a couple minutes with him was an honor for me, but you could see that he was just a very, very friendly person, a very humble man, considering the position he's in, and I just had a ball getting to know him.
I'm sure. Thanks for the time, Coach. Coach Rick will give us his scouting report of Alabama, plus more pregame analysis with Eric Zier is coming up. Kickoff between the Dogs and the Crimson Tide is at 7:45. This is the Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network. Blackout in Athens, and man, they are milling around here at the tailgate show, here at the Dog Walk. The team is in, and the band has, is that Black Magic Woman? Oh, no, that was the Allman Brothers. Sorry, I can only get a little piece of that with the blackout. I thought we were coming with black. See, the great Kent Lawrence just walked by, old number 24. Yes, sir, old number 24 rolling into the stadium. Good to see him. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Sorry, we're having so much fun out here, and it is crazy. Lauren, it's just crazy out here tonight.
Yeah, Eric was saying this is the wildest it's ever been, and I probably will agree, although last year Auburn was pretty powerful.
That was pretty powerful, and we wrote about 1976 earlier this week. Hey, let's check that Plumbers and Pipefitters Union Local 72 scoreboard. Games in progress. Auburn is leading Tennessee with under 5 minutes to play. 15th-ranked Tigers have a 14-12 lead. Auburn, I think, just punted the ball. They were 4th and long. Other games in progress. 9th-ranked Wisconsin hanging on against Michigan. It was 19-0 at one point in Ann Arbor. The Wolverines have battled back with 11 minutes to play in that game. It's 19-14. Badgers with the lead. 8 minutes to play in the fourth quarter, and 23rd-ranked East Carolina perhaps going to be an upset victim today. Houston leads 38-24. Navy leading number 16 Wake Forest. That game is in Winston-Salem. It's 17-10 with 11:11 to play in the fourth quarter. UCLA had Fresno State early, but now the Bulldogs have pulled away. 25th-ranked Fresno State with a 36-22 lead. That is late third quarter. And Texas putting the hammer to Arkansas, 52-3. Hook 'em horns, 9 to play in the fourth quarter. In case you missed it, Ole Miss beat Florida today, 31-30. Great win for Ole Miss and for the Bulldog Nation as well. Scott Howard brings us closer to the Georgia players each week with his interviews, and it's time for us to meet another Bulldog right now, presented by Georgian Bank. Here's Scott.
All right, we're talking with Georgia linebacker Darrell Gamble, and Darrell, you're famous certainly for one of the big plays you made last year. Let's go right to the Vanderbilt game. The fumble that a lot of people say turned your season around last year, because we'd stumbled a little bit in September and the Tennessee loss, and then we were in a tough game in Vanderbilt and Nashville. They were going in for the winning score, and then you step up, strip the ball, and the rest is history. And you guys went on to win 7 straight and finish number 2 in the country. Tell me about that game, about that play, and the aftermath.
Really, it was a crazy situation because last year, Brandon Miller and Marcus Howard were injured. So I had a chance to play, and I wasn't really expecting to play as much as I did. So just getting to that point, fourth quarter, they ran a sweep, and I beat one blocker and defeated a chop block. And I just seen the ball carried with the ball loosely, so I just happened to punch it out, and we recovered. And ever since then, I've been getting more opportunities. Coaches have felt that have gained more confidence in me. So this year I've been starting more, having more playing time, and I think from that play I gained a lot of confidence for the coaches, just for them to know that I could play.
You're from Bainbridge, Georgia. What is it like playing high school football, living in Bainbridge and coming to the University of Georgia? You a big deal in Bainbridge?
Yeah, Bainbridge was a great place to live. I'm pretty much known. Everybody knows about me because my brother, he was a great player there, and everybody knows me from him, really. So I'm not one of the top guys. He's over me in high school football, but Bainbridge, everybody pretty much knows me down there.
Tell me about playing with Rennie Curran. That guy's he's really coming on and is playing very good football right now for you guys in the linebacking core.
Rennie's just a different breed. He could track the ball from wherever he's at. He's just great in open space. He gets to the quarterback. He gets to the ball carrier. I guess he just really understands, like, he does a lot of extra film study just to understand, like, what plays they're going to run. He has great expectation of what's going to happen. So I think he just prepares himself really good for each game.
Joint's going to be jumping today with the blackout in Alabama. What are the players' thoughts on the whole blackout scheme?
Really, the blackout is I think it's more for the fans, just to get pumped off the black jerseys, and we pretty much feed off the fans, so it'll be a great atmosphere for us to play while our fans are really buying into what we're doing.
Darryl, thanks for your time. Good luck against Alabama today.
Thank you.
That's Georgia linebacker Darryl Gamble. Guys, we'll send it back to you for more of the Tailgate Show.
All right, thank you, Scott Howard. We're really enjoying our time out here tonight, folks, if you can't tell. Blackout night, Georgia and Alabama. Mark Richt with a scouting report of the Crimson Tide is just a few minutes away. Plus, we're going to tell you how you can win tickets. You don't have to buy anything. It's from the network. It's from us. No sponsors, no hidden gimmicks. You can just win tickets for Tennessee, for Florida, for Auburn, for Tech. We're giving them all away. That information is coming up to you in just a bit. This is the Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network. All right, we're going to tell you how to win tickets to those big games in just a couple of minutes. Mark Richt is standing by with a scouting report of the Crimson Tide as well. And we are now 1 hour and 6 minutes from Georgia and Alabama, the blackout game. And that time check is brought to you by our friends at Solomon Brothers. Other games from around the conference today. Ole Miss knocked off Florida in the Swamp 31-30. Did you get that final score?
Say that one more time.
Yeah, the final score again was Ole Miss over Florida in the Swamp 31-30.
Boy, I'll never get tired of hearing that score.
Never get tired of hearing that is right. You got UAB at South Carolina tonight. Kentucky hosts Western Kentucky. LSU is entertaining Mississippi State. And for our charter connection to the SEC, let's go to Jim Ellis now, who provides us with this preview. Jim?
Mississippi State invades Tiger Stadium tonight, where LSU has won 27 straight Saturday night football games. Bulldog head coach Sylvester Croom says that this year's Tiger team may be just as talented as last year's national champions. In fact, he says this year's LSU's team may have even more speed, especially the defense that's running to the ball extremely well, and a world-class sprinter in Trinidad Holiday on special teams and offense. As far as the Bulldogs, they have to improve an offense that got into the red zone 5 times against Georgia Tech last week, but came away with just 1 score. And which Bulldog defense will show up? The one that held Auburn to 3 points 2 weeks ago, or the one that allowed Georgia Tech over 400 yards rushing and 38 points last week? This is Jim Ellis for the SEC Connection, brought to you by Charter Communications.
All right, thank you, Jim. Nice job. You always hear about those little parties they have where women can wear their little black dress because everyone owns one and they always want to wear them. This is that party tonight, folks, because there are about 10,000, 15,000, 20,000. I keep looking. It keeps adding up. 40,000 women out here in their little black dresses and about 50,000 guys in their little black dresses. Well, shirts. All right, you know how big this game is? I just saw the great Charlie Trippi. He's walking up on our stage right now. How about that?
Doesn't get much better than that.
It does not get much bigger than Charlie Trippi being with us. How are you? So wonderful to see Charlie Trippi. Let's see. Yeah, can we get him on for just a second?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see if we can get Mr. Trippi on for just a second. How are you, Charlie? Great to see you.
Well, Charlie, nice to have you.
What's going on here today?
Charlie is going to be honored tonight.
Is this a holiday? My gosh, I didn't know football was this exciting.
We're going to honor Charlie tonight. He'll be introduced at the start of the second quarter because he was picked in ESPN's top 25 players of all time. And I think Charlie Trippi ought to be higher ranked than 20. I didn't see him play. I'm not that old. But he was a pretty good player. You can look at the statistics.
Any number is great.
Yeah, and the top 25 of all time, you'll take it, right, Mr. Trippi?
Any number.
Absolutely. How are you feeling, sir?
Feel good.
Now, here in 1946, it was a big duel. You and Harry Gilmer from Alabama. Georgia won 14-0. You were a big star in the game, but the big play that nobody really knows about or remembers was you were punting on third down. They blocked the point.
That's right. It was a quick kick. That's what it was.
Quick kick.
We were supposed to surprise them, but we surprised ourselves. They blocked it.
Well,
but,
you were. There were a couple of guys ahead of you, but by the time they dove for the ball, guess who came up with the ball, Neil? Number 62.
See, people don't realize that game was won by the defense. See, we shut out Harry Gilmer. He didn't complete a pass the whole game. And in football, defenses win the games because they give the offense more opportunities with the football.
All right, Charlie Trippi will be honored tonight.
He'll be honored as one of the 25 greatest players in college football history. Think about that one, folks. And think about how you can win tickets to see Georgia against Tennessee or against Florida, against Auburn. Go to freebulldogtickets.com to register. We'll call out more names Monday morning. Mark Richt and the Scouting Report is next. This is the Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network.
Bulldog fans, University of Georgia buses are still red and black, but they're also a bit greener now that they're running on environmentally friendly biodiesel. The university began using B20, a blend of 20% biodiesel and 80% petroleum diesel, in all 47 buses in its fleet. Now, this switch makes UGA one of the largest users of biodiesel in the state and one of only a handful of transit system operators nationwide to make such a switch. Helping keep the environment clean is another Bulldog point of pride.
Just about an hour away from kickoff, Georgia and Alabama tonight between the hedges. Coach Rick's Scouting Report is sponsored by AirTran Airways. Welcome back, everybody. Neil Williamson with you, and Coach Alabama's offense. This is a team that is committed to the run so far this year.
Well, as you say, so far they have been, and for good reason. They got a big veteran line that's just pushing people back and expanding the holes horizontally. They're just making space for those runners, and I'm talking about big gashes, not just 18 inches of daylight. These guys are creating big enough holes for, I would say, a golf cart to go through. Wow. So there's no reason for them to sit there and try to win the game throwing the ball, although they are throwing the ball when they want to throw the ball on the early downs, and they got the play-action pass to help them out. So if we don't slow down the run game, I'm not going to sit here and say we'll stop it, but if we don't slow it down, it's going to be a long day for us.
They've been a big play team, at least they certainly were against Arkansas last Saturday. Alabama had 4 touchdowns of 60 yards or more, including 2 interception TDs and 2 long runs. Coffee and Upchurch each had them. You got to stop the big play or you're toast, aren't you, Coach?
Yeah, there's no doubt. They did get all those big plays, and it does scare you how fast they can score, and hopefully will just cause a little more resistance than the teams they've played so far this year. But, when you say that you've played Arkansas and you've played Clemson away from home and you got victories, you've had a tremendous start. But as you watch those games, neither one of those teams challenged them at all, and we absolutely better do that or they're going to have another one of those kind of games.
All right, Alabama's defense, 0 rushing touchdowns allowed this year, 8th nationally against the run. Who are the standouts on Alabama's defensive unit?
Well, the big boy, Cody, is the one that everybody wants to talk about, and there's good reason for that. He's huge. They say 365 pounds, but he's probably more like 400 pounds, and he's knocking everybody around. He's pushing the pocket back in the quarterback's face. He's disrupting the run game. And it does start up front down the middle. They have a middle linebacker, number 25, who is started as a true freshman last year. He's a big-time player, and their safety is an all-SEC performer. I think he's first-team all-SEC, and a great hitter. So right up the gut, nose guard, middle linebacker, and safety. They've got what it takes, and it's going to be a really rough game for us.
All right, Coach Richt, we know you have lots of recruits. We'll let you go. Thanks very much for the time. Good luck tonight.
All right, thank you.
Coach Mark Richt with the Scouting Report of Alabama. That game is coming up right here on the network, and we're glad you're with us. Stay tuned for more of the Verizon Wireless Tailgate Show after these words. This is the Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network. Dogs in Alabama tonight. Welcome back to the Verizon Wireless Tailgate Show. Eric Zeier, Lawrence Smith, and Hondo downstairs. And our play-by-play man for tonight Scott Howard. Scott, this game has taken on a life of its own.
Well, yeah, it's caused people to shave their heads. I just saw Noshawn. He's got a mohawk. 24 has a mohawk.
That's all right, as long as he'll do some scalping.
There you go.
That's exactly right.
That's all right. Yeah, and our engineer, Charles Young, said that I was just jealous because I can't grow one. I quickly reminded him that I have an inverted mohawk.
Yes.
You have a wide one.
Follically challenged.
Yes, it goes shoulder to shoulder.
That's all right. Scott, are you excited about your opportunity tonight?
Oh, yeah, it's great. I mean, I can feel the adrenaline starting to pump up right now. The crowd is great in the stadium. The students are already jam-packed in here. The blackout is definitely in effect, except for the Alabama folks, and they're wearing a little bit of white. But yeah, it's getting amped up now. It's almost go time.
Well, your beautiful bride just stopped by to say hello to all of us, and I asked her if she had her headset, and she just laughed at me. Yes.
And fresh batteries, too, I might add.
Mrs. Howard will be listening tonight. Eric, tonight's game.
Well, it's going to be a great game. This is what you live for when you're playing these games. There's so much excitement, so much pageantry around it. If this even comes close to what the first blackout was, it'll be something that nobody ever forgets. And what I see right now, the excitement that is around right now is greater than it was against Auburn a year ago.
I don't think Alabama knows how good they are, and I don't think we really know. So this game is going to be a game where I think fundamentals and making sure you don't make a lot of mistakes is going to dictate who wins the ball game. And Georgia's been able, under Mark Richt, to win close games. Tonight will be a stiff test.
Well, we certainly were tested at Columbia against South Carolina. We played 2 road games, which were stiff tests. You said we're not sure about Alabama, and we're really not, because Clemson lost again today. They lost to Maryland this time at home. And, we obviously know that Arkansas isn't playing all that well. They're getting hammered by Texas right now. Frank Ross, captain of the 1980 National Championship team, and his beautiful bride, Jan, just came by to say hello to us. Great to have him here. Scott, good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Have fun tonight. Lauren, have fun tonight. All you people out there in Radio Land, stick around because we are closing in on Georgia and Alabama. This is the Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network. Florida has bitten the dust. Tennessee has gone down today, and now number 3 Georgia will host Alabama coming up in just minutes. As we roll out of our tailgate show, we'd like to thank Eric Tate of Aramark, the exclusive provider of concession services to the Georgia Athletic Association. Also, thanks to James and Trina Amy, our caterers, and Richard Vendetti of the Georgia Shrimp Association. Thanks to our facility staff led by Matt Brakowski, who does a great job for us. Georgia's Claude Felton and his sports information staff, including Karen Huff. Also, thanks to Joel Williams and Alan Hunt, who co-produce our UGA tailgate shows. Charles Youngs and Tony Schiavone have engineered this broadcast. Mitch Ralston has provided us with our scores. For Lauren Smith and Eric Zier, this is Neil Hondo Williamson. Lauren, Scott, Eric, and I will return next with the pregame show. Then our number 3 ranked Bulldogs crack heads with 8th ranked Alabama between the hedges. You've been listening to the Verizon Wireless Tailgate Show. This is the Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network.
The Verizon Wireless Tailgate Show has been brought to you by Farmers Distinct Choice Auto Insurance, Cook's Pest Control, Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car insurance. The Georgia DOT. For free traffic information, dial 511. Towns County Tourism. Visit mountaintopga.com. Georgia Farm Bureau, the voice of Georgia farmers. Renai, official water heater of the Georgia Bulldogs. Lowe's, let's build something together. And the Georgia Bulldog Radio Network is proud to sponsor Children's Healthcare of Atlanta.